Hi everybody, it's Lucas with Custom Firearm Solutions. Today I'm just going to do a quick video demonstrating how the inertia trigger works on a Browning Citori shotgun. I get it in quite often, probably one every couple months that they're having issues with their trigger resetting. And I wanted to show you guys how exactly that works in there and what's causing those common problems with these guys here. So let me zoom in and I'll show you how this thing works. So here's the insides of the Browning Citori shotgun. The common complaint that I'll get is when I pull my trigger, one barrel goes off, but when I release, the second barrel never engages. Or they'll say, I gotta wiggle my barrel selector to get the other barrel to shoot. Problem with that isn't necessarily something wrong with the gun, it's just the design of how this inertia trigger works. So I'll show you how it works here with the stock off. My hammers are cocked and the shotgun's ready to fire. So right now my barrel selector is engaged to drop this hammer first. You'll notice when I pull the trigger, it goes off. Now watch this metal block here. When I release the trigger, it's still engaged on this sear up here. It never released from that sear. So now when I pull the trigger again, the other hammer does not trip and it doesn't go off. So that's the problem that people are seeing. There's nothing wrong with the gun, it's just the design. So why that is because it's called an inertia trigger. Basically, when your shotgun fires, all that recoil is going to go back into your shoulder. And that inertia is transferred to this little weight here. This weight will fly backwards and trip the next hammer on the return. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So again, we're going to go ahead and fire this one hammer. Now, when you release, you're going to have that inertia of that recoil that's going to trip this weight backwards. And now if you'll notice, that sear just tripped. This weight now went past that sear and is now engaging the other hammer. So when I pull the trigger again, the other hammer goes off. So why is this happening? Why do people say that when I pull my trigger, it's not advancing to the next one? Now, essentially, all that's happening on the inside is this weight is not properly moving back far enough, or it's getting stuck or sluggish or something like that, that this weight is not moving with the recoil to trip the next hammer. So things that cause that. There's a little bit of moving parts in this guy here. It's a little hard to see on camera, but it does wiggle around and this lever goes back and forth here. So if there's a little bit of grime or varnish or gunk or some dust or something like that in all your mechanism here, that can cause this weight to not move properly. And basically, when that recoil occurs, it doesn't always move freely and advance to the next hammer. The other thing that it can be is how you're holding the shotgun. If for some reason you wanted to fire your shotgun not shouldered and you're hip firing it, believe it or not, I've seen that happen with these, the inertia isn't properly, or the energy from that recoil isn't properly distributed back into a solid point like your shoulder. So this weight doesn't move like it's supposed to because it's not getting the proper punch of the recoil, if you will. So let's say that happens. Let's say that you fire it and you notice your one barrel goes off, but that recoil didn't happen quite right, and now I can't fire my other barrel. Two things you can do. You can, of course, break open and reset your action, or you can bump the back, and that bump on your bump stock will reset the trigger to the other barrel. It just needs to feel that recoil to move this little weight backwards and advance to the next sear. So how do you fix this problem? You got to keep it clean. I know that sounds funny, but you do get a little bit of dirt and some particles and some grime that get in there over time, right around the wood of your stock, and it will gum up over time. This one, for example, when I took it apart, had varnish and kind of like a varnish type coating, had a little bit of grime here and there all throughout the inner workings here. This can be a pain to clean. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of moving parts here. You can spray it out, you can brush it out, but it's very, very hard to get in all the little inner workings of these levers without taking everything apart. From experience, you take out these mainsprings and they are a pain to get back in if you don't know what you're doing. So what I recommend is either taking this to a gunsmith for proper cleaning, or if you have a hydrosonic cleaner, that makes cleaning these a whole lot better if they're not too heavily gummed up. That's the basics of the inertia recoil trigger. If you have any questions with them, please feel free to look up Custom Firearm Solutions in Crandon, Wisconsin. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. If you do have problems, you can always ship me your parts as well. I can make repairs and I can ship them right back to you. But if you got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I do read every one of them, but we'll see you on the next video.